Hello, I'm Jennings Stanley, and this semester I was privileged to do an internship for pre-law at Stanley Woodard Law Firm. I was able to work under attorneys Bill Stanley and Jared Woodard, um, and I really found that the experience I got from being in the office over the course of the semester was extremely valuable, for what I want to do in the future. And my plans, I'm a political science major with a focus in pre-law, and I plan on attending law school after my time at Arkansas State. And then I want to practice law. And so, working here was exactly what I needed to do and get the valuable experience. And I'm really glad that Arkansas State offered the internship experience, and I could get credit for working in the law office. It was really an informative time. I was working mainly in the front, but also I was doing things that pertain directly to what the attorneys do, and working for them. I wasn't just cleaning up or stuff like that. It wasn't all legality and information about the legal study, but there was some of that. But a lot of it was the mechanics of running a law office and what it takes to do that, and how to maintain all the clients and keep order in your law office, which was really valuable information to me. Again, I worked in the front office mainly, and some of the stuff I did was answer phone calls, whether it be a telemarketer or someone in a prison, or a lot of times it's clients calling asking to speak to the attorneys about maybe they had court that morning and they have questions or anything in that manner. Take payments. And of course, you run errands being in the front. But yes, sometimes you have to go get office supplies. But sometimes I'll actually, a lot of times the errands I'd be running would be I'd run to the courthouse because I needed to check our box, see if we had any information there regarding a case. Or that was a county courthouse, or I'd run to the district courthouse here in Jonesboro and get the discovery from the city attorney. Which is basically what the city attorney has in regards to a client that one of the attorneys here is representing. One of the things that I did pretty much every day and took up the vast majority of my time as an intern was opening and closing cases and filing them. And it's actually a pretty large process to keep opening and closing them. So to open a case, you've got to get a new folder. And so I've got some examples. So for Mr. Stanley and Mr. Woodard both do criminal defense. And so for misdemeanors and smaller offenses, they just have these two-fold manila folders. Pretty simple. Not much can fit in here, but that's because it's misdemeanor. For, your larger offenses, felonies, they use red folders. And these have a little more space to put stuff in. And, of course, I'd be making labels that would tell what case, who's the client is, and everything else. So for civil cases or personal injury cases, blue folders. And these can fit a lot. Mr. Woodard does domestic relations. Those are yellow folders. And lots of criminal cases and personal injury, lots of civil cases always get put into these right here, and you can put multiple red folders in them. They fit tons of stuff. So that's what I did all the time. And of course, there's instructions I used at the beginning. Before I really figured it out. It tells you all the tabs you have to put in and what order they go in and stuff in that nature. So that's the folders. Get that. You have to enter the client info into the database in the computer system so that the attorneys can look it up quickly. You have to put their court dates in the calendar if it's a criminal case. You have to make a new card to put in the case, the physical case index. Finish out your file labels, make a ledger for them so they can set up payment plans, and then put them in the case register. And then on the flip side, you also have to close all these cases, which basically you get your folder out, and all the physical copies pretty easy. You just take a red pen and write the close and the date that it was closed on. Then you go on the computer and you pretty much move them from the active cases to a closed file. And the whole goal of this is just to keep order, and we do it all in the front so the attorneys don't have to worry about it. But that took up the majority of my time, is opening and closing cases. And then once you have them opened or closed, then you file them. And filing an open case, of course, goes with the active cases, and the closed go separately with all the other closed cases. I think the coolest experience that I had as an intern was Mr. Stanley had a murder trial, and I was able to go and watch the murder trial. I was able to go actually watch almost 2 days of the trial. And, I learned a lot from it. I got to see both the prosecution and the defense cross-examine, put witnesses on the stand. Mr. Stanley's client, got to see his entire testimony, and the prosecution's cross-examination of his testimony. And, any questions I had, I would kind of keep them in my mind. And then after we would all court was dismissed, I would ask Mr. Stanley, any legal questions that I had, and he was happy to explain whatever I needed him to, or if I didn't understand something that was said, or why something would be sustained by the judge, or taken out. There was evidence that couldn't be given because it was hearsay, and I really didn't understand, and he explained the legality behind it. And I learned just from those 2 days of watching and those questions I got. That was so informative and very valuable for me. Also got to go to the county courthouse multiple times, Mr. Stanley, and got to kind of go behind the scenes in both the Craighead County Courthouse and the Greene County Courthouse. Craighead County, I was with Mr. Stanley the whole time, and got to kind of see where the prosecutor and defense would more or less talk about the cases, maybe plea deals and stuff of that nature. And I've got some pictures I'll be putting in the video. And then in Greene County, I was actually, during the murder trial, there were the jury was watching a video, and the bailiff was informed by Mr. Stanley I was doing an internship through ASU with the office, and he actually came and pulled me out, and I was kind of shocked by it. I thought that maybe I'd done something wrong, but no, he actually just showed me the behind the scenes of the Greene County Courthouse, and it was really cool to see all that. But overall, I'm really glad I got the experience this semester doing the internship. It was really valuable experience for what I want to do. I'd like to do the criminal defense side of practicing law and personal injury, and I was working hands-on with that all semester, and I'm glad that I was able to get college credit to do something that's going to really help me get hands-on experience in the workforce.